Global brands are increasingly marketing their products to key markets, making use of region-specific advertisements to capture the attention of their target audience. Marketers understand the impact that cultural and societal differences have on advertising and are forced to adapt to different markets. To understand why, we must first understand the rapid rise and development of marketing practices over the last century, as well as the influences and the regulations which defines the industry. Additionally, focus will be placed on the effects that cultural differences have on the marketing strategies and advertising in a given region or nation, with reference to some of the most popular and influential marketing campaigns around the world. In the modern days of social media marketing and in raising awareness of the imperfections in our society, companies are being held far more accountable for their actions than ever before. Global brands such as Pepsi and Nike have been embroiled in controversy with their ad campaigns and actions in recent years. Recently, Nike was found to have been using sweatshops on their supply line, where workers suffered human rights abuses and was immediately followed by consumer boycotts on the company's products. While Pepsi was seen as tone deaf and received backlash for its advert with Kendall Jenner, which aired followed protests against police killings and brutality. To understand the anatomy of modern marketing culture, we have analysed its largely American roots, as well as how they are related to cultural contexts and the marketing traditions of other countries. American marketing has been shaped by historical and cultural landscapes, where companies focus on building a brand culture. In doing this, they can portray the qualities that consumers like to see in brands they buy and see as desirable for one reason or another. American ad campaigns commonly focuses on traditional American values such as life enjoyment, personal success stories, cost savings, and individualism. Luxury brands such as Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger portray images of self-made men and women and combine these values with patriotism to create what is referred to as the American way of life.
It really is an honor and a privilege to be working with Ralph Lauren to dress America's athletes for probably the most prestigious sporting event in the world.
Another example of traditional American values is Budweiser's Reunited with Buds campaign, which emphasizes small-town America and pushes the idea of the American dream. On the darker side of advertising, historically ethnic stereotypes and American racial biases are reflected in marketing. Brands such as Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's drew upon racial stereotypes of a traditional mammy figure and a happy black cook for years.
Not only does Aunt Jemima Light taste better than Log Cabin Regular, it's got more maple in it. With Aunt Jemima, now you're cooking.
On a similar note, Frito Chips made use of ethnical stereotypes against Mexican Americans with their Frito Bandito mascot to sell products. And it wasn't until a lawsuit which claimed the brand defamed every American of Mexican heritage that the mascot was dropped.
Golden either? Hey, maybe you like better some lead, huh?
Citizens, protect yourselves. Never buy one bag of crunchy Fritos corn chips. Always buy two, and hide one for you. Who knows? There may be a Frito Bandito in your house.
Both Europe and the US are perceived as Western, and have similar heritages, societies, and ideals. Yet differences in culture and regulations have shaped and changed the way in which marketing is approached. The most culturally similar European nation to the US is the UK, with a shared common language and where America and American business has had strong political, economic, and cultural influence. Despite the cultural similarities between them, the UK's approach to marketing differs from their American counterparts, as there are different and often stricter regulations put in place. In the UK, local advertising laws are seen as a gold standard, where enacted laws are more beneficial to consumers rather than corporations. An example of this would be the practice of product placement, which is commonplace in American films and on American TV.
Oh, this is Diet Snapple?
I know, it tastes just like regular Snapple, doesn't it?
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty, turkey-filled, cold-cut combo.
In Britain, consumers perceive this practice as tacky and has been outright forbidden on British TV since early broadcasting in the 1960s. This has led to instances of blurred branding in products on British television and even the creation of fictional products on TV.
A 1.3 hatchback!
Large multinational firms which make use of global marketing strategies can often meet cultural barriers and are forced to adapt to regional markets. In the US, more emphasis is placed on factors such as religion, independence, success, and traditional values. These factors, while also present in particular European nations, differ more greatly between borders, and advertising must be changed in order to adapt to this. An example are German consumers who do more research than the average consumer and are more brand loyal and environmentally aware. It is for this reason that German consumers are seen as the most demanding consumers in the world, a hurdle which marketers must overcome when advertising in the nation. The initial drafting of the European Union's marketing laws drew upon US marketing law, but was adapted to the legal traditions of various member states, such as with the prior example of the UK. The EU's changes included stricter regulations on comparative advertising that unnecessarily identifies or falsely disparages a rival product. If these regulations were present in the US, it would have equated to far different marketing in the cola wars between Coke and Pepsi, and between rival brands like McDonald's and Burger King, who regularly make use of comparative advertising in their marketing campaigns. Hofstede's theory of cultural dimensions provides a framework for cross-cultural communication by quantifying 6 distinct cultural value dimensions unique to each country. In viewing the diagram, we can see how closely aligned the cultures of the US and the UK are, linked extremely closely in the dimensions of power distance, individualism, masculinity, and indulgence. Each of the 4 countries are shown to be highly individualistic cultures and are seen as low-context communication cultures, where communication is explicitly verbal and gets to the point fast, a factor which marketers must take into account when advertising in these societies.
The 6 dimensions of Hofstede's theory are used to analyse the cultural differences between the United States and China. With the power of distance index, China scores high, which means that individuals approve of power inequalities. Americans score lower, which means that equality between individuals prevails. The second dimension is individualism versus collectivism. The United States score higher than China. The American society is more individualistic, whereas Chinese society is collectivist. It is seen that both societies are masculine and support values such as success, competition, and achievement. The fourth dimension is uncertainty avoidance. The USA has a higher score, which means that uncertainty is less accepted. China is more accepting of novelty and innovation. It is a society that adapts to uncertainty. The fifth dimension is long-term orientation. Chinese society scores the highest as it has a long-term vision and its priority is its economy and savings. The United States has a shorter-term vision and prioritizes traditions. Finally, the last dimension is leniency. The United States is more lenient than China. American society leaves more room for freedom and pleasure, unlike China, which is restrained by controlling desires. These cultural differences can be found in marketing and advertising. Chinese advertisements value values such as success, pragmatism, and saving. The style is indirect, and the role of men and women are differentiated. The American advertisements value traditional values, success, independence, pleasure, self-esteem, and religion. The style is more direct. A fundamental decision for all MNCs is whether their marketing strategy should be a one-size-fits-all or one that is adapted based on different cultural needs. This is known as global versus international marketing strategies. One company that has proven their quality with their adaptation and localization strategies is Coca-Cola. Their brand is known to over 94% of the world, as they have struck a perfect balance between global and international marketing. When based in the USA in the 1920s, they revolutionized Santa Claus into the image we recognize today, with Coke in hand. Coca-Cola were also among the first to market their drink alongside food, and is now found in restaurants everywhere. They focus on the American cultural demand on convenience, exemplified by the Coca-Cola fridge pack. A crisis in 1999 forced a reshuffle in the hierarchy and a new think local, act local approach to marketing. This increased their focus on local consumers' needs, and it required an understanding of each of these cultures to market effectively. This strategy is known to be glocal, as it struck a balance between the global and international marketing strategies. Examples include Morocco, where they have invested heavily in the number one sport there, soccer. As a result, the drink is number one too. Another example is in China, where they have successfully integrated local traditional factors and have since earned the acceptance over the locals with strategies such as featuring local celebrities in advertisements. Also in Peru, Coca-Cola succeeded in earning the local trust because they presented themselves as if they were a local business. In summary, Coca-Cola are a marketing strategy success, as they have established a highly identifiable brand image whilst identifying the differences in cultural and societal needs across the globe.